The new Stealth Cam 360 Revolver, guys, is finally here. We've been waiting for it. It just came out a few days ago. It's up for sale to the general public. A few things I want to go over with you, different functions and features of the camera. There's also a couple of misconceptions I want to go ahead and clear up real quick while we're talking about it. Let's talk. Okay, so the new 360 camera. Now I know what you're thinking. We've seen 360 cameras before. They're usually on a pole. They have an hourglass looking figure on top with a mirror, and it's got a camera that shoots straight up. This does take a 360 shot. It takes one picture per 360. These cameras work, but the long range distortion, let's say at 30 feet, 40 feet, those cameras are not good for clear shots. They work, but they don't. Another thing is when you get the picture off of the camera and you put it on your computer or the phone and you scroll around and look, it's hard to find stuff. It's hard to find what you're looking for. Plus, the image is kind of distorted. It looks like an hourglass figure. This is not what this camera does. Absolutely not. It is completely different from that. A new creation, a different beast. This camera has 6 zones from front to back. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically a whole 360, and it takes these shots. There's 2 different ways you can set this camera up. You can set it up in one zone to take pictures only, or you can set it up in 6 zones. So let's say a buck comes right across the broadside here, right between the camera and me and you. So it'll take zone number 1 and 2 and take pictures of that, and that's it. You can also set it up to take 6 different zones at one time, even at a single movement area. So let's say that buck comes across right in front of us. It's going to get him, and it's going to take zone number 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6. Just to say he's got a friend that's waiting behind here, you're going to get that by accident too, even though the camera didn't get tripped off by the one that's back there. So you're going to see him and his friends behind. Cool, awesome feature. You can also set it up like we just talked about for just zone 1 and 2, or you can set it up for 3 and just catch whatever's off to the left. Let's say you set this up in the springtime. Everything is fine, everything looks good. You kind of smash down the area, get the plants and the branches and what have you out of the way. You set it up in March. Comes May and June, stuff starts growing. Now all of a sudden you've got a plant or a leaf or something that's right in front of the camera, and it's constantly setting the camera off. This is so cool. You can actually get on your phone from far away, and you can set these settings to actually exit out zone number 1 and 2, right where this leaf is, or maybe hopefully it's just one zone. You don't have to go up there and fool with the camera, plus it's not constantly taking pictures, using up all your memory and your data and what have you. Awesome feature. You can also change the burst. You can change it from video to photo. You can change all those settings over your phone. It's called the Command app. It works good. So this will hook to Verizon, which is what we've got up here. It's got a high gain antenna. If you've usually got a bar, or you're getting into spotty places where you've got one bar and maybe none, you can go to a high spot. And since this is a high gain antenna, you can usually get reception a lot better with one of these than your phone. Good thing, because if you get into a spot that's got no reception, odds are you should check it with this and see if you've got reception on the camera and you can actually get pictures to go out. A couple other things I want to talk about. This camera has 16 batteries. It will take 16 AA's, whether they're lithiums, alkaline, whatever they are. You can also hook an auxiliary power source up to it. We've got a SolPack 5 sitting right here, and we've got it hooked up to this. This works pretty good. You can go ahead and charge it at home while you've got it at home before you take it out. That's what I would do, at least anyway. You can hook it to this camera. It also comes with a 10-foot cord, guys. And what's cool about this is, on this 5, you can hook this camera, guys, to this solar panel, and you can also hook another one of these in parallel. So basically you've got at least maybe 1 or 2 of these hooked to each other and then hooked up to the camera. So you're never going to run out of battery life as long as you've got it in some sun. Doesn't have to be in complete direct sun. Like this is, it's pretty covered in here. But if you've got 1 or 2 of these constantly and you're not burning up all this battery power taking all these pictures, it's going to last quite a while. So another thing about this cord, it's 10 feet long, so you can string it out and hide it and do whatever you want. It also has a threaded input on this camera with a little seal with a gasket that goes in there, and you thread it in there and it won't come out. Say something happens, windstorm, whatever, pulls the connection out. It won't happen with this camera because you've got it threaded in there with a gasket, won't get moisture in it as well. So, a few other things I want to talk about. We've covered the 360 motion. We've covered what it isn't and what it is. I like this camera. Let me tell you why. One of my favorite things to do is to catch red-handed Homo sapiens. And let me tell you, this is the best camera for doing something like that. Usually when you have somebody that's trespassing on your property, you've got cameras set up, and the first thing that they see, if they walk up on the backside of it, which more than 50% chance they're going to come up behind it and face it most of the time, you can see that strap on that tree from a mile away. So if someone's trespassing on your land, stealing stuff, whatever it is, they're probably going to see your camera and knock it off the tree or just stay away from that area. The way that we have this camera set up, guys, and I recommend setting it up on a stump or a high place like this where it can do its job and get behind it instead of strapping it to a tree. There's nothing wrong with putting this thing on a tree and getting 200 degrees or maybe just a little bit more depending on the side of the tree. Works fine that way. No problem with that. But if you're going to do it like this so you can use the whole, you know, you can get all the way around the tree to say instead of what's hiding behind it. Somebody is on your property. This is just an example. Someone's on your property and messing around. We've got this set up. As soon as they walk up on this camera, they're done. Done as fried chicken. As soon as they see it, it's already got them. It's got their face, it's got their movement, on which way they came from, and probably which way they left. You can't do that with a regular camera unless they get caught from frontal view and they don't see it. So if they want to go ahead and steal your camera, 9 times out of 10, they've probably already got their mugshot on this camera while it's transmitting to your phone. How cool. A few other features of this camera. You can, now I wanted to go over this, you can actually use this camera, guys, without having, you know, a cell service transmission plan going on where you can get pictures live to your phone. You can use this camera old school. You can just go up and collect a card just like the old regular ones before. Nothing wrong with that, works just fine. You don't have to have a setup where it goes to your phone. It's only, so we set it up, it's only $5 a month for 600 photos, guys. 600 photos. So if you're getting lots of activity on your trail, and hopefully it's not from a branch, you can go ahead and tune it down from remote, change zones, just like we talked about, changing it over to fly over your phone from 100 miles away. Coolest option that you can actually do. I mean, how cool is that? You don't have to go out there and check the camera. You've got the solar panel set up so you hopefully won't run out of battery power. Awesome, awesome setup. I've got this moss on this antenna. Doesn't have to be. I mean, I've got it on there because when the sun hits it, it kind of glistens in the sun, so I kind of want to tone it down a little bit just to make it blend in a little better. Doesn't affect the range or the hooking up with the cell tower. Just makes it look a little more camouflage. There is a post mount on the bottom of this camera. There is a nice, I'm going to call it looks like teeth on a chainsaw on the back of this thing, so it wraps onto a tree if you decide to strap it. Works just fine both ways. I've set this camera off at 100 feet with my arms up in the air, and it's clear as day shot, guys. I mean, clear as day at night. From 60 feet, 40 feet, 50, 60 feet, just fine at night, and in the daytime it's even better. You can change the PR sensitivity on this camera from low to medium to high. It works well at medium and low. High, it's not over trigger happy, but it works just like it should. The pictures on this camera are very clear. And also, one more important thing, it's kind of no glow. There's hardly any red light that emits when it does go off at night. It works very well at night. It does pick up what it should, and it doesn't just get blob shots like some of the other cameras. They just take pictures of nothing even when there's no movement. This camera is very precise. It works well at night. I think that's just about it on it. I've got it full of alkali batteries right now, guys, and I've got it hooked up to the soul pack with the lithium battery inside of here, just as an insurance policy. You don't have to do it that way. It works just fine. Let's go and talk about this camera. This is one of my other favorite cameras. This is a Stealthcam DS 4K. This is an awesome camera. We're kind of getting off subject here, but I really like this camera. It's got amazing battery life. It's got a very simplistic LCD screen that you can change the settings on here with. Cool camera. I've got some of my best shots on this camera in my time. So all you hunters, I think you should really consider putting one of these in your arsenal. It's not going to do you wrong. You're going to be very impressed with a camera like this. It's like I said, it's something that we haven't seen before. Stealthcam is very proud of this camera. I am as well. I think it's waterproof. I haven't gotten any moisture in it or anything like that. We shall see. We'll use it years from now and see how it puts up with the weather here. We're in Northwest Oregon. We get a lot of rain up here. So, yeah. So I'd like to hear some of your comments and questions. I'd be happy to answer them. If you're considering getting one of these cameras, I think you should definitely definitely do it if you're looking to buy one. We'll talk to you later.